Louisiana versus all y'all. Jarrett Roser with new Bonnabel head coach Andre Anthony, which doesn't make me feel old at all to say that Dre is now getting ready to be the head coach of the Bruins down there. I mean, I texted you the other day, man. Congrats and congratulations again, and thanks for taking some time to talk about it. How does all that sound? How does all that feel about this new opportunity?
Man, it's great. It feels excellent, man. Can't really describe it because I never thought this would be happening to me, at least this fast. But I'm excited. I'm blessed, man, and I'm just ready to get started and get to work, man.
I think folks that are watching this probably know sort of your backstory and know why I joke that it maybe makes me feel a little bit old coming back to your high school days, coming out of
High
Miller-McCoy and
school,
Edna
yeah.
Karr, and then through your years at LSU and obviously some time with the Bucks and the Bears in recent years. But you mentioned you never thought that this would be a day we'd be talking about. When did
Right.
this start to kind of come into focus that you could see yourself getting into coaching when your playing days were done? How did that develop for you as a possibility?
I mean, honestly, it came along a little bit earlier. So, meaning like in high school, well, not high school, but in college, we do like the kids camp and things like that. So, like Coach O was the one that always said, "Oh, at some point you're gonna be a great coach with dealing with those kids." We do little camps like here and there. I do like a camp with the old former O lineman Sean Wells, doing different camps. Like I hear people say it here and there, either family, coaches, like you're gonna be a great coach one day. So not really thinking much of it. I'm like, I'm focused on football, playing football. Coaching was something that was going to be later down the line when I got done playing. And then, as the years went on, obviously tore my ACL my senior year. Then, still got the opportunity to get drafted. Went to Tampa, went to Chicago, tore my ACL again with Chicago. And just waiting. After getting hurt, I was still on the roster for the whole year. After getting cut and stuff like that at the end of the year, just waiting around for another opportunity. And just in my waiting time, I think it was just like I'm tired of kind of just sitting at home, just rehabbing. I wanted to jump into it, and because I knew at some point, when I did get finished playing, that was something I want to do. And then it kind of just once I got the opportunity to go coach at Bonnabel as the D line coach with Dwayne Thomas, that's when it all started. And once I got into it, like I kind of the playing days kind of drifted away a little bit, because like I wasn't really hearing nothing much about getting the opportunity to come back and play. So I fell in love with the kids. I fell in love with teaching the kids as far as the game of football, the fundamentals, and then it just like became like more of a passion, even more and more every as the games went on, the season went on, and I'm like, okay, this is something I could do. And then, at the end of the season, the opportunity presented itself to, interview or apply for the head coaching job. And, I called a couple of people, most of the people that that I was in high school, my mentors. I called Bryce Brown, Coach O, um, um, Andre Carter was my D-line coach at LSU. Called him Brock Hayes. He was at Miller-McCoy with me, and then at Karr. He's with Tulane right now. Nick Foster, like all these people that was like mentors to me, and then some of my teammates like Caleb Warren, Mike, people that I'm real close with, and calling them like, hey man, look, this opportunity just hit my lap, man. What y'all think? And they gave me great advice. They was like, bro, like I knew you could be at least one day it was gonna happen one day, but it's like it's an opportunity of a lifetime. That many people don't really get. So they was like, man, go for it. What's the worst that can happen? And after that was all she wrote.
I mean, you hit on one of my next questions in terms of the folks that you talked to about some of this. People whose brains that you picked about it. Congratulations, you've
Mhm,
heard and stuff like that. What is
mhm.
the last few days looked like in terms of the amount of people that either you reached out to beforehand or have reached out to you, and what have been some of those most memorable conversations or moments along the way?
Beforehand, it was most of the people that I was really close to, like the mentors, the people that I just named, calling them ahead. This was even before deciding to coach in general, just asking them like, hey, look, I'm thinking I want to start my coaching career. And I was like, yeah, like, go for it. Definitely do it. Same conversation, same people, Coach O, Brock, all these names that I named were the same people I hit up before I even decided to start coaching. And then once I got into it, like I said, I started falling in love with it. Then the opportunity of head coach in my lap. So I reached out to those people again, like, hey, look, I know this year's only been in it for a year, but hey, I got this opportunity for this head job. And it was like, man, it'd be like amazing to get that this early to put on your resume. Like, why not? You'll be a great head coach. You got the tools, you got the people around you, you got the village to help you. So why not? And then once I did the interview, nervous as hell, wondering like, if I got it or not. Once the news broke out, all hell broke out. I mean, like once it got out there, man, I'm talking. It felt like I think it was probably worse than draft day, like far as like social media, text messages, phone calls, man. Like it was like incredible. It was like amazing. Like it was like overwhelming. The amount of people I've heard from, like I said, old teammates, from high school, from college, from the NFL, like man, like literally, like I can name a bunch of these, like well-known people, like people that I've associated with, like the 2019 team, players I played with at LSU throughout my 6 years there, high school coaches, like man, it's like phone is still like I'm still texting people back, thank you and things like that. So it's just been overwhelming, but I love it, man. It's good to know that I have a great support system. I have a great support system to where like these people have been along like since day one, since high school, since Karr, or even before, since Miller-McCoy. Like these are the same people who's supported me, whatever I've done. If it was football, now I'm coaching. Like it's good to know, like, hey, you still got that support system still there. So it's definitely amazing.
You mentioned going into the meeting nervous, and you've got a season of high school coaching under your belt, and you're going for this opportunity really early in your career. What did that conversation look like in terms of what you wanted to tell Coach Hagans and the administration about your vision, what you felt like you brought to the table, and what you hoped could be accomplished there under it, an Andre Anthony led Bruins program?
Just after being there for a year, man, I just recognized a lot of things that needed to be done, things that I feel like, personally as a head coach, like I could do to help. Like one of the things being an asset to this team, knowing my name and the people that I know that can help build up this team, and also too just the culture. A lot of years they have been through different head coaches year after year. So stability was something that they needed. And after last year, I fell in love with the kids. So I knew, hey, I want to stick around. I want to be that for those guys and be that stability. So, man, just going in there and talking to them and making them feel comfortable. Like I had came in there with a whole binder. Like I had, the handbook. I had the practice plan, the schedule. I had the whole line. You just couldn't. Like I knew coming in there, like I was very well prepared, and that's just off the knowledge that I've learned throughout my years of football on a professional level, a high school, college level. Like I've been around the Karr, so I know what it takes. I've been around the LSU. I've been around different colleges. I've been around NFL teams, so I know what it takes to build a foundation. I know what it takes to build a great team, and just taking all that I've learned, and also talking to my mentors, like same people I call like before my interview. I'm like, man, look, wait, what are some things you guys did in your interview like that could help me with mine, or like some of the questions that might be asked so I can prepare myself. So hitting up, talking all these and taking all these things and writing this stuff down and jotting this stuff down and coming together with a whole kind of binder of things that I want to implement, things I want to change, things I want to do for fundraising, team bonding, activities just to get administration involved, get the team, a better foundation and culture around that. Take pride in what we do as a football team, as a school. So man, just coming in there, like I said, making them feel confident that okay, look, hey, this is our guy. And honestly, leaving the meeting, I just kind of knew like, I accomplished that, and they were very comfortable with that. Even once they broke the news and told me, like even the principal told me, like you just by far hands down had the best interview. Even I was a little bit nervous after. I was still like, that football player be like, I could have, feel a little maybe if I said this or that, but still I just knew, okay, I did what I was supposed to, and I felt that they were confident and happy with what I had to offer and bring to the table.
Coach O's binder for his hiring at LSU was like a famous thing. Did he mention some of that? Did he talk about going in there with that detailed of a plan? Did he mention specifically a binder? I think LSU fans are going to be curious about how much of that maybe came from O after how much we wrote about that back in the day.
Honestly, he didn't mention nothing about the binder. He did. It was just kind of something I put together. Um, Like, honestly, everybody that I talked to really didn't mention a binder. I just went. I know people mentioned that, hey, go in there with paperwork. They want you to go in there with paperwork and have to give to everybody. So I just knew, okay, make sure, everybody was saying, make sure you have a practice plan, make sure you have fundraising plan, make sure you have different things, that they can keep and they can look at. So in my head, I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to just give them a piece of paper, so I'm gonna give them a binder. So I just put everything in a binder from, look, hey, this is coaches' expectations, players' expectations, like kind of like a handbook. And you get a handbook either when you go to LSU, when you go to, any college or any NFL team, you get a handbook that you have to read over. So that's what I kind of cultivated and made it into like a handbook. And you got your handbook, then you have your practice schedule, then you have your script, you have idea what fundraisers you want to do, calendar, what workouts look like, strength and conditioning, like all that. So I had the whole nine. So literally, you could just open. I didn't even have to say nothing. You just can read everything and just kind of know, okay, So nobody really said the binder. Everybody was just like, literally, everybody was just like, hey, make sure you have papers to give them with your plan, because you don't want to just go in there and just have nothing. And I think that when I came in there with my stack of binders to give everybody, it was like, oh, you came very well prepared. So I think that was, but no, nobody mentioned the binder. I just kind of came up there with myself, though.
Those dynamics of being prepared and detail oriented and all those things are probably, I mean, any successful coach that you've had a chance to be around has probably tried to harp on those. Have there been other specifics that, as you kind of look at the way you want to lay out this program now, that kind of stick with you? Just, things that you picked up during your playing days that really resonated. And I guess particularly anything that you look back to, okay, my time with Coach Bryce and those guys at Karr, this is something that stuck with me above all. And my time in Baton Rouge with Coach O and Coach Carter and those guys, just little nuggets that are really kind of top of mind for you right now in the way that you want to get this thing started in your early days as the head coach?
Honestly, two things, pride and leadership, are things that stuck out with both of them. Because one thing about Karr, it's college oriented. Like it's preparing you for that. Like literally when they're preparing for you in high school, that when you get the transition to college, it's like no difference. Like it's just like, oh, you picking up where you left off. It ain't like, oh snap, we didn't do none of this. Like literally, like everything that we did at Karr, it was a little just in its own way the same thing we did at LSU for us. Practice, workouts, how you held accountable, the leadership council, like all those things literally was the same thing. So like I know for one, pride was something that Bryce always uh, implemented and harped on. Having pride in everything that you do, taking it, hey, when I put my name on something, hey, it's gonna be done right on the field, off the field. That was like same thing when I got to college. Same thing, pride. Just that word just resonated just so much. Leadership. I was a captain. I was on the pride panel at Karr. I was on at one point, once I developed myself, matured myself, I was afforded the opportunity to get on the leadership council at LSU and just creating those leadership skills and creating those leaders, because it was all player led, just as a Karr. It was all player led, to where it's not just the coaches coaching all this time. It's the players, a player led team. And then also to character, how you pride yourself on character. Bryce always says adversity builds character, reveals and builds character. And that's something that stuck with me for like years, because, a lot of things that I feel like my accomplishments and like the people that I know now is because of my character. So if you take football away, who am I as a person? And that's what I want to find out and let these guys find out about themselves. Like if you take football away, hey, who are you as a person? And how do you conduct yourself, with discipline, accountability, how you treat others. Like that's what's going to speak volumes more than anything. before people, knew me as a football player, obviously they knew me first as a football player. But once you got to know me as a person, they're like, okay, he's a way better person than maybe he is a football player. People just want to do stuff, or people just want to help you. So just like I said, building men with pride, men with character, and just being people that's leaders. So those are the three things that I want to implement in there to build these young men up, because that's the foundation. I want to build that before we even get to football, letting them understand what it means to be a man. Uh, Pride and have character and have those leadership skills, because that's going to help you with everyday life. Football helps us with the skills that we need in everyday life. So if you're not playing football, like 9 times out of 10 jobs usually pick the guys who apply for the job that play sports, because they know what it takes with hard work, and what leadership, how it is to work with a team and things like that. So just preparing those guys for everyday life skills.
You're a guy that I mean, you talk about some of the leadership roles you had within the teams at every step of the way, and we always kind of knew the leadership that you brought to the table, almost preparing you that much more for these type of opportunities. When you went into coaching in a more full-time capacity this fall, what was the biggest surprise or biggest lesson that you learned from the first time being that day in, day out, hands on? I mean, in the midst of it with that young team, that again maybe surprised you a little bit, or was a learning curve for you, or a
Mm-hmm.
challenge for you to adjust to, or whatever it may have been.
Honestly, I've been around, like when it comes to kids camps and high school camps. You see me at the high school camps. Some of the players have to come back and work out those kids when they come in at the LSU camps, or just doing camps with other people like NFL players helping them. So I've been around kids, so nothing was surprising too much, but also too learning just like those kids who may not have all the resources and all the help. So getting back to fundamentals, like some things like that is obvious to me is maybe not obvious to someone that's like 16, 15 years old. So even when we just talk about football, like think in my head, okay, you should know this, but just having to get back to the basics, like, okay, hold up, all right, let's start from square one. I'm trying to, just me being a football player, I want to just jump to Spanish 2, Spanish 3, and just thinking like, oh, they supposed to get this. No, like starting at Spanish 1 and like, okay, let's get to back to football, the basics, like, hey, A gap, B gap, what's personnel, 11 personnel, 12 personnel, teaching them like the basic fundamentals of the game of football before we get to on the field stuff and hitting and all that stuff like that. Because that's ideally, okay, well, that's what we want to get to. No, these kids just need somebody, hey, who can teach them the basic fundamentals and then work their way up. So it wasn't really a challenge. It was one of those things that just like, hold up, let me slow down a little bit, because I'm way advanced. So let me just, hey, hold on, I'm dealing with kids. I'm dealing with kids who are like 15, 16 years old, who probably some may never play football in their life, or never had great coaching, or whatever that may have you. So let me start back to square one and just like, let me get back to the basic fundamentals of football and let them, technique, assignment, what to do and things like that. So that's what I had to. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't a challenge. Just finding ways and learning kids. Like everybody's different. You can't. One kid might be different from the other one. So understanding their strengths and their weaknesses and things like that. So it wasn't really a challenge for me. It was just one of those things like, hey, let me sit back and like, okay, why isn't this kid getting it, but he's getting it? But okay, let me find a different way to get the same message across, but in a different way. And I had to learn that, and learning my players and things like that kind of helped me with that process. It's the same message getting across, but hey, I might have to tell it a little bit different. And then also too, like I said, with the fundamentals, getting back to the fundamentals, keys, techniques, assignments, and things like that. Let's get back to that, and then we can work our way up as we advance.
When you look at the actual, I mean, the ball side of it and the way that you want to look as a team on Friday nights, some of that I'm sure will develop the more that you guys get into spring ball and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of see guys emerge in different spots and whatnot. But are there elements of who you want to be in terms of, you know, coaching philosophy, coaching schematic when it comes to actual games that kind of stand out of, you know, I would like us, and maybe also in the way that you're kind of approaching some hires and stuff, or filling some staff
Mm-hmm.
spots along the way, this comes up, just different elements of that you know are going to be kind of important to you and ways that you want to go about things when it comes time to snap the ball?
Honestly, like, just preparing now, like hiring my staff. My staff is like something I've been really, really honing into the hires that I want to make to get the right people around these guys who I know are going to develop these guys on the field, on and off the field. So, because I know as a head coach, it's I want to hire people that I can just know that, hey, I hire a defensive coordinator and an offensive coordinator who I know is going to do their job. They're going to coach the players. They're going to coach their coaches on the schemes that they want to run, and even coach me too on, hey, this is what I want to implement. This is what I want to do, and that we are all on the same page, and that they get to the team to where it's just like, I don't want to be a dictatorship to where I'm hiring all these coaches, but I want to do everything. No, I want to be a head coach and be a head coach and let my coaches coach. So I want to hire people that I trust, that know what they're doing. Hire coaches that will prepare these kids to play football, get to the fundamentals, develop these kids, and also to get them to, to play college, get them to the next level and things, and prepare them for the next level. So that's kind of the main thing that I've just been focused on right now. Schematically, like I have an idea of what I want offense and defense wise, and I've been in great talks you know, with coaches and stuff. And it's crazy with me being, I guess, not young, but I'm in the one position in the interviewing somebody maybe who may be way older than me, more experienced than me, about a OC or DC position and job. And just hearing from different people and their ideas and stuff like that. I just want to find people who we are all like-minded and understand, like, hey, where I come from and what I want, what I want to implement here, and that we all on the same page and we can be a cohesive group, so that, hey, when they see the coaches, they see we on one accord. Hey, we should be like them, and it all just trickles down. So, I just want to hire people that I know that can be around me, that I trust to do their job, do what they want, and that we can all come together as a team. So that's kind of honestly uh, the main thing that I just kind of been focused on. As of now, I think I have so far, like, defensive side of the ball is stacked. So hopefully sometime, I want to say about end of this month, I'll have pretty much everybody. I just met with one of my OCs, potential OC, yesterday. So it's I think, the group of guys that I'm putting in place. I know people are very like-minded like me and want the same things I want. And I feel like this program and this kids, the group of kids that we have off of last year, man, like we could be something amazing, like, and take this to higher heights. But it's just finding the right people in place who are willing to come here and really do that and build this thing from the ground up.
You mentioned you might not have some things finalized or official until maybe the end of the month. Are there former teammates of yours at either level that you're kind of in some communication with and saying, come on, come be a part of this?
100%, 100%. I mean, it's teammates, guys who I probably didn't play with, but play older than me, that I've been in contact with. It's probably way older than me. They've been in coaching around for a little minute. Guys that I actually played with. A couple people like just hitting me up, like, hey, look, I'm here, Hall. So I have like a bunch of people that's been hitting me up that I've been in contacts with. But yeah, it's gonna be some familiar names on there if everything falls through like I wanted to, and then I'm praying it will. But I just know, like, uh, these are the same people who I've either played with, people who I know that's been on the same team for us, LSU, or that I know that, hey, they have the same principles, they have the same mindset, they have the same ideas as I do. And that's why I'm like, it's gonna be some familiar names, but it's gonna be real cool, and I'm excited for the kids too, because I know they need stuff like this too. So
when you talk about the piece of it of, obviously you want to prepare these guys for not just football but for life, and you want to obviously have success on Friday nights in the fall as a high school team, but also a piece of it is getting guys ready for college and maybe college opportunities as football players for some of them. For a young coach, one of the benefits is having gone through some of that pretty recently, but so much is changing so fast in college football recruiting right now. What is your kind of perspective on, what you can take from your experience a few years back versus how much you're learning on the fly, like a lot of us are, because of all the shifts, it seems like every year at this point, and how different some things look right now versus what they did, 8 years ago or so?
I mean, it's definitely way different. Recruiting is way different with the transfer portal. The NIL deal stuff is just way different. And I just want to get across from for my kids at least, like, understanding like one that hey, everybody's not going to make it, but hey, everybody, if you want to get there and you do what you need to do to get there, I'm gonna let you know, hey, this is what it took, this is what it takes. Hey, everybody see all the offers, everybody see all the money and things like that, but nobody sees the work. So I want to show you what the work is. I want to show you what the work looks like. I want to give you, hey, this is what I had to do. Put people in front of them that you admire and stuff like that, to let them know, hey, look, this is what I had to go through. Because everybody sees Jamar Chase's catching, all these touchdowns 2019, but nobody sees in the summer that he had to catch over 2,000 balls before he could even play. Things like that. Like nobody sees the extra film and things like that, or the work, because everybody does practice. Practice, everybody does that. It's just outside of that, what are you doing when it comes? What a sacrifice are you making to get to that next level? So just letting them know, hey, what it takes, and it's going to probably take more. It's going to be hard. It's not nothing that's going to be easy. And then everything now with the NIL stuff like that, like hey, sometimes guys and getting what they probably would have got paid in the NFL in college. So just letting kids know, like you have a chance to change the trajectory of your family's lives in college, just doing those little things, and everybody, it's always opportunity for everybody. That's also a good thing. So you can go to a JUCO now and go ball for a year or two, get some film, and possibly go to LSU or Alabama or something the next year. So it don't matter what school you go to now. If you're a baller, you're a baller. And then it's also too, you can get that film to go somewhere else. So just teaching these guys, the recruiting process and things like that, on how everything goes, to get them, excited about it, and also too that it let them know like, hey, it's opportunity out there. Because back in the day, I didn't want to go to JUCO. Nobody wanted to go to the small schools and stuff like that. Everybody wanted to go to big schools. But now everybody everywhere is a free fall. Everywhere you can go somewhere, like I said, a JUCO, a small school, and do a year or two and ball out and get the opportunity to play on somewhere else. You have an opportunity to go to a big name school and make some great money. If you're doing what you're doing, you're balling and things like that. And also too, obviously after that is going and taking it to the NFL. So just enhancing and informing those guys on everything that they need to know about the recruiting process, how it works, what college coaches are looking for. And one thing about it too, that's why I'm so glad that I experienced the things I experienced, because everybody just see Edna Karr, everybody see LSU, everybody see Tampa Bay and Chicago, but hey, nobody sees Miller-McCoy. And everybody doesn't remember. I went to the small school before. Hey, when I got to Karr, I wasn't always the greatest player. I had to start somewhere. I just had coaches once again who believed in me. Brock and Nick. Brock Hayes and Nick Foster were the two people that was at Miller-McCoy who just saw me and believed in me and was like, hey, you're a football player. And then literally it just went off from there. And then, people who actually believed in me, helped me work, hey, and then build me up into the person I am to get the opportunity to go to Karr, play at Karr, hey, go to LSU. Nobody sees that the first, you know, 3 or 4 hours. I had a Liz Frank my freshman year. I was sitting behind Kevin Warren Chaser and Arden Key, Michael Divinity. I was also the guy who was on the bench. I was also the guy that was playing behind people. So, when we talk about opportunity, so when it was my time after 2019, hey, Kevin Warren's gone, Arden's gone, Mike's gone, now it's mine. My time, take the opportunity. Same thing with the league. Like, we talk about injuries. Like I feel like I've been through everything, experienced everything that even these kids are going to experience and things like that, to where I know what it takes. I know what it means to go through adversity. So I don't look at it like, oh, he had it all, it was easy. No, like I'm literally a living witness of what it takes to get to the next level. I didn't have the easy road, just been this great player all years of my high school, college career. No, like I said, was a guy who went to a small school. I was the guy who sat on the bench. I was the guy who had to work my way up the ranks and build a name for myself. I was that guy who's been through injuries and adversity, and things like that. So it's just, that's why I'm so grateful to go through my experience so I can help these kids and let them know, hey, this is what it took and this is what it takes. Because if I would have gave up a long time ago, I wouldn't be where I am today.
I mean, I think we hit on a ton, and I've already eaten up more of your snow day than I intended to. But I'm not surprised that once we got talking, that it ended up being a little bit longer than I meant to keep you. But do you have any additional, final message, that anything we didn't hit on that you want to make sure, whether it be message to your kids' message to the Bonnabel community, alumni of that school, anything like that? Or, I mean, just some of your, fans and supporters along the way, people that have kind of followed your career this far, whatever you might want to say in addition to the stuff we already hit on to close out. I'm just going to toss it up to you.
First off, I just want to thank everybody for all the support, the love, the messages, the phone calls, man, throughout the years, from high school to NFL to now coaching. I just want to thank you guys for always being there. Also, too, hey, continue that support. Come support us. Come support the team. Hey, if you want to give back, reach out to me. I can give you guys my number. Hey, Instagram, email, whatever. Hey, these kids need that. You want to just do anything to support the team or support me, man, it would just be greatly appreciated. But I definitely want to send my thankful gratitude to everybody who just reached out and just been with me along this journey, man. And this is not the end, man. This is only the beginning.
There you go. Bonnabel head coach Andre Anthony getting ready to take the reins of that Bruins program where he got into high school coaching just a few months ago on the heels of his NFL career. And Dre, again, man, congratulations and appreciate you. It was always a pleasure to kind of chop it up with you.
Appreciate you, man.
You got it. For Louisiana versus all y'all, Jared Rosa, thank y'all for checking it out.